From the East and the West, you've heard others, but now you've tuned into the best. This is a Prime Wave Media production.
What's up, world? It's the one and only Pop DBICB PrimeTime Capper, and it is time for the premier sports betting show, the PrimeTime Angles Live. I'm feeling good. I'm feeling great. And, man, it was another fun weekend this weekend in the sports world. We had the end of the NFL this weekend. We finally have ourselves our playoff picture and everything like that. It seemed like the first 6 seeds were pretty much settled in the divisions, but we had to settle out who's going to be the final team in and who was going to be here and who was going to be there and all that good stuff. But as you guys can see, here goes the bracket for next week. As you guys see the setup, we have the Jaguars who will kick off everything against the Chargers. That game will be, I'm trying to remember exactly what networks these games are going to be on, but this will be, and also in other news, I didn't talk about it on the show, and I did take a few days off from the show because it was kind of a subdued moment, but Damar Hamlin is being discharged from the hospital now, so that is a great sign on what has occurred. So 7 days later, a man who literally lost his life on the field is walking out of the hospital. And as we always like to say, God is good, right? So there it goes. Just wanted to go ahead and give you guys a little bit of that news. But Jaguars, Chargers. This one will probably be one of the better games of the weekend because right now they have the game at a pick'em. But I truly do feel like the game does kind of favor, in a sense, it will kind of favor the Jags a little bit more because the Jags have a coach that did win the Super Bowl, and also the Jags have a coach that is just a guy who has playoff experience over Staley, but the better team is the Chargers. We all know this, and I think the Chargers are honestly playing their best football of the season right now. They didn't sweep out at the end of the year like I thought they would, but they damn near came close to doing it. So this Chargers team, they did a lot yesterday to not get hurt. So I know that's why the defense did not go as hard as they usually do. So we'll see how it goes, see how it shakes out. But I have more about the Chargers this week when we do go ahead to a full preview of that game. But that game is going to be on NBC, and it's actually going to be a primetime game as well, too, next Saturday. So that should be a lot of fun. And then we do have Seattle and San Francisco kicking off everything for us on Fox, and that should be a fun one as well too in San Francisco, in Santa Clara. And we all know Seattle is San Francisco's probably their biggest rival over the last decade and everything like that. So that will be played into this game, and I think that San Francisco needs to be on the lookout for the possible upset as well too. I don't care what anybody says. Pete Carroll has this thing about winning these type of games, and on Sunday you have Buffalo and Miami. That's going to kick off things early start, so you don't have to worry about the game being too cold or anything like that. Then you have the Giants in Minnesota with the afternoon game. Kind of a weird situation. I would think that you would kick off the day with the Vikings and you would have the Buffalo game in the afternoon, but I know it gets really cold over there in Buffalo, so you want to get that game out the way as fast as possible. And then you got a rematch of what last Sunday between Baltimore and Cincinnati. There's no word yet on if Lamar is going to be a part of that game. And then we finish up with Dallas at Tampa Bay. So as the week progresses, I'll have more about this. I'll probably go ahead and review every game. No, it's not probably. I will review every game for you guys, break it all the way down for you so we know exactly where we're going this weekend as well too. But, man, we got a very great list of playoff games to look forward to. We got 6 in total, and then we get the Monday night game to go ahead and finish up everything. So this will be a lot of fun for us. I look forward to talking about the NFL playoffs this week. So you guys, it's that time of the year. We are in the second season. It's time to dance. So I'm with it. I hope you are too. All right, let's go ahead and jump into the CFP title game, and we got ourselves a very good game tonight between 13-1 TCU going against Georgia tonight. Georgia's coming in here 14-0, number 1 team in the nation as well too. TCU, the number 3 team in the nation, 12.5 point spread, over under a 63.5 as well. But I'm gonna just be dead honest with you guys. We don't have to talk about this long because this is about to be a Georgia absolute beatdown, in my opinion. I don't want to disrespect TCU and everything TCU has done moving towards this season, but let's keep it real. TCU is not on the same level as Georgia. Yes, beating Michigan, I wasn't surprised there because Michigan was really good, but Michigan isn't elite like that. Michigan has has pride. They got a big name. They got a good little conservative game plan with a great physical defense. That can be beat. And that can be beat by a team that knows how to spread it out, open things up a little bit. And that's exactly what TCU did. And TCU was just as physical, just as tough for that game. And I think Michigan had this idea that they were already in the championship game because everybody just had this great analogy that Michigan could not be beat. And sometimes teams hear that and they really feel like that's going to happen. But Michigan made so many mistakes to start the game off. They never were going to win that game. You start the game off 14-0, you might as well just call it a day. Yeah, they came back or whatever for glimpses and parts, but still 2 pick sixes wasn't going to happen. So a lot of things worked out for TCU in that game. But playing Georgia today, Georgia was exposed hardcore by Ohio State. But they can only get exposed once without making those adjustments. Ohio State has NFL guys. If you look at it, Ohio State's whole receiving core is going to the NFL. All right, let's just keep it real. Their offensive line, probably 80% of those guys are going to the NFL. If they played some defense, they would have beat Georgia by 20 points. It's that simple. They had Georgia very worried at points. Georgia needed this type of game going into a championship game. They needed a game where they were really on the brink of losing because Georgia was so good this season. They literally played perfect in every single game. So that's what they needed to wake up. And tonight, I hate to say it, I love underdogs. I love the way that they're coming in here as a 12.5 point doggy and all that stuff. But I'm being realistic here. It's not going to happen. It's just not going to happen. I don't like being a front runner for a big favorite, but it is what it is. I'm running and I'm running fast with this because the thing is, there's no need of sitting here and spending a whole show talking about this game because at the end of the day, we know what's going to happen. SEC rules, and pretty much it is what it is. If this was Ohio State and Georgia, now this game would mean a whole lot. You know what I mean? Because you have the best players in the nation going at it. You have pretty much rosters full of NFL future players, not stars, but future players in the NFL. When you look at TCU, you see a team that had a great Cinderella season. And a lot of times, Cinderella seasons, the slipper always shatters before midnight. And I think that's one of these situations. So that's what I'm doing. That's where I'm going. It's going to be a great game. I look forward to it. But at the end of the day, Georgia should roll in this one. 2 touchdowns or better is the right spread in the spot. And I think the under is the perfect play for anybody betting this game. I have more bets for you guys when we get to talking tickets. But for now, this is where we're at. And this is where we're going. So that's what I see. And hopefully everything works out on having a great game tonight. I hope I'm not right. That's the whole thing. But I want to be right, so we can cash that ticket too. So it is what it is at the end of the day. So pretty much here we are moving forward. And let's go ahead and jump into our Patriot League Mondays. And we have Colgate at Army. Colgate's coming in here 9-7. Army is 9-7 as well too. The Patriot League, one of my favorite leagues in all of college basketball. They always have some really fun teams, and this is a unique conference because what happens here is that all bets are off. Literally, there is no favorite, there is no underdog here. This is a tough conference. Americans actually leading the conference, but this is a battle for second place. Both these teams are 3-0 coming into the game today. Now, Army is 5-1 at home, but you do have a Colgate team that's 5-3 on the road. So this matchup does really sit very well on paper. You got Army coming off of a really good win against Loyola. They beat them by 23. They also beat Lafayette by 17, and both of these were road games as well. But last time they were at home in a conference game against Lehigh, they did only win that game by 2. So that's something that you can look at. Colgate comes into this game winners of their last 3 in a row. Army's won their last 4 in a row. And Colgate absolutely has crushed the competition. They had 2 really good road wins, and then they were able to come back around and beat a pretty good Navy team by 14 as well. So you do have yourself a very fun situation here in this matchup. But I really do feel like Army should be in this one because Army always plays a good disciplined game. And Colgate being a 7.5-point favorite in this spot is simply because of namesake. And that's the name that people are very used to in college basketball when it comes to this conference. So I truly do like Army in this spot. Patriot League Mondays are always a fun day. You never know where I might go in this spot. I can mess around and say, let's do a plus 350. Something like that, because there was a lot of times where I had some really good days with Boston U and Lehigh and things like that. So never sleep on the Patriot League, especially on Patriot League Mondays. Like seriously, Patriot League Mondays are not for the week at hand. All right, so there it is. Colgate and Army tonight. It should be another fun battle of the Patriot League. We'll see how it goes. Let's see how it shakes out. We move forward from there. All right, so let's move on and talk about what happened Saturday night. And Saturday night in D.C., a bunch of craziness. Tank starts off 2023 boxing with a bang, with another stoppage of a game. Hector Garcia. Garcia came into the fight and was actually did what a lot of us thought he would do. He would be able to come in and actually be a polished boxer, a guy that's going to move around a little bit, throw some good, accurate combos at Tank, keep Tank honest and things like that. Well, it took Tank about 7 rounds to figure out what was going on. And then once he figured it out, as usual, another victim. Tank probably showed everybody a great repertoire of his boxing skills in this fight, especially when he was able to dominate the 8th round the way that he did. And what happened is that, he pretty much hit Garcia hard enough to the point to where he didn't know where he was at anymore. So when he sat down, he said he couldn't see. And doctors, refs all heard that, and they decided to not move forward with the fight. They decided just to sit on the stool after the 8th round was done. So it happens. They did the safe thing here. I don't know if it would have affected the outcome of the fight because when you look at when they ran the cards, Tank was up 3 or 4 rounds on every single card. And when you got to that point of the fight, most likely the only way that Garcia was going to be able to do anything close was having a draw. You know what I mean? So literally, I think that they already had it in their minds that they were going to have Tank win this fight regardless of decision or knockout. The only thing like that Garcia had for him was he had to stop Tank or literally beat Tank into, beat Tank like Muhammad Ali beat Ernie Terrell. So, it just didn't happen. And it was some ambitious thinking by a lot of us, especially myself. But at the end of the day, you need to see guys get challenged. And I felt like this was a good challenge for Tank to go ahead and really prove to all of us that, you know what, he is that guy. You know what I mean? And for a very, very, I would say, they say it's deep. I say it's not deep. You know what I mean? Because if it was deep, guys wouldn't keep jumping and skipping, certain guys. You know what I mean? They would really be going right at each other if there was a lot of talent in the pool. But I think what a lot of these guys are doing, they're trying to build themselves up to a mainstream audience. It's not working, but they keep trying. And I think Tank is the only one that's in that upper echelon of, guys being able to walk in there and really call their own price out. And it's not because of a lot of pay-per-view sales. It's because he puts butts in the seats. And as I said before, when you can sell out arenas, not ballrooms, not the local club, not the little warehouse that's seen it, that's some type of business or some type of event center. No, you're selling out Staples Center. You're selling out State Farm Arena in Atlanta. You're selling out the arena in Baltimore. You're selling out the arena in DC. You sold out in Carson as well too. It's like, y'all got to understand, this guy Tank, they have marketed the situation very well. He highest attendance record in Brooklyn at Barclays, and Barclays always has a great boxing crowd, and he broke records there. And that's the whole thing. Tank is doing exactly what the machine wants him to do. Okay. And that's knock people out. That's put butts in the seats, and that's be controversial. Okay. And that's exactly what Tank is doing at this point. And it is working at the time, but eventually people get popped and it'll happen. But I say this in all kindness because I don't see Tank as no Floyd Mayweather. I don't see him as another Mike Tyson. I don't see any of that. I see a guy that's really great at the moment. And once the moment passes, then they'll find another super slugger boxer that with little to no intelligence and real intelligence. Yeah, he can fight. He got some great ring IQ, but this man has to start making some better decisions moving forward. And I think that there's going to be some more hype that goes into it because I know that they're very antsy about him fighting Ryan Garcia. And I think that fight is on the table. But let's be realistic here. He's fighting in April, but is Ryan Garcia fighting in April? Ryan Garcia has to understand he ain't the only option for the next fight. He's the top option, but he ain't the only option. So you see great things happening, and you're glad to see the excitement with the boxing community. But at the end of the day, let's not go ahead and start giving these guys let's not give these guys every single little achievement that they haven't earned yet. Okay, let's just keep watching the show, and then we can judge if this person really made an impact in the next 5-6 years or so. Not right now. That's my biggest thing. You know what I mean? So it is what it is. Tank, congratulations on another banging win for you. Sell out, Meat Mill. I would suggest you stop calling out boxers at fights and stop betting everybody that's around you at the fight. You know what I mean? That's what these apps are for. You know what I mean? Stop throwing around money. Stop talking so much. Just be at the fight and have a good time, man. You know what I mean? You just don't be so extra. And also, one last thing. Boots, y'all leave Boots alone. Boots is still a great fighter, and Boots is a person that needed to have a fight to where it went more than 3 rounds. So sorry that the fight went 12 rounds and he had to show you guys exactly who he truly is and how tough this boxing thing is when somebody doesn't want to stand still for you. You know what I mean? So it is what it is at the end of the day. He did a great job. He won all 12 rounds. I always say that when you beat a guy for 12 rounds straight, that's even worse than getting knocked out. That's the easy way out. When a guy beats you for 12 rounds straight, that's absolutely humiliation. And that's why Floyd Mayweather is my favorite boxer of all time, because he used to humiliate guys. It wasn't that he was knocking you out. It's that he literally embarrassed you. Like, why are you boxing? That type stuff, that's what sticks with me. Not a guy out there just knocking somebody out in 30 seconds and the guy's out, or the ref always intervening and stopping the fight for you. You know what I mean? So it is what it is. But there it is. We will be right back. And when I get back, we will talk Lakers and we will talk NBA Monday night as well, too. So you guys stay tuned. This is the Premier Sports Betting Show.
Good News Only Racing Club, led by the legendary Doug O'Neill, the trainer of 2 Kentucky Derby winners, and I'll have another in Nyquist. Also trained 2-time Breeders' Cup champ Golden Sense, who are just a part of a long list of thoroughbred champions trained by Doug O'Neill. The Good News Only Racing Club has a young core of horses to look out for in Dennis's Celery, Irish Heatwave, and Notre Dame, just to name a few. Win the day every day with the Good News Only Racing Club, a proud sponsor of the NFL Bet Exchange.
From the East and the West, you've heard others, but now you've tuned into the best. This is a Prime Wave Media production.
Tune into Big Wave Boxing every week with a brand new guest, with the one and only Pop DiBiase, the PrimeTime Capper, getting the best boxing stories, best boxing angles, and the truth when it all comes down to the sweet science. Tune in to Big Wave Boxing on the Prime Wave Media channel on YouTube.
All right. So, yeah, last night, man, it looks like the Nets had themselves a little bit of a bump in the road. But that's going to happen, though, man. Whenever you streaking and doing really good, one of your best players always gets hurt. It never not happens in an NBA season, in my opinion. Even when the Lakers was winning 3 straight, Shaq would always catch an injury at some point. Kobe would break a thumb or something like that. So I think that the way that their rhythm is set up right now, they should be fine. You know what I mean? They should be fine. You know, that's what the doctors and everything are for. You know what I mean? And it just happens. And from what I'm hearing right now is they're going to make him rest for 2 weeks, and then they'll run some tests. I think KD will be back in a month. He's just not going to be in the All-Star game. It's that simple. You know what I mean? And I don't think guys care too much about being in All-Star games if they've been in 10 or 12 of them. You know what I mean? So it is what it is at the end of the day. But state of the Lakers are on a 5-game winning streak right now. They do have the Nuggets tonight as well, too. The Nuggets have actually won their last 12 out of 15 games as well, too, to propel them to the number 1 seed. And the Lakers are on the road tonight. So the Lakers have not been the greatest road team this year, but they do have a tendency to figure out how to beat these teams like the Nuggets. So you have a Lakers team that's actually won 5 in a row, but they've actually won their last 6 out of 7 as well, too. Wound up finishing, getting 3 out of 4 on that road trip that a lot of people didn't expect them to get 3 out of 4 on. Then they started off the season now with 4 straight wins to start the year as well, too. So the Lakers are kind of rounding in the form. They're only a half a game out from the play-in situation as well, too, because Portland has fallen all the way off. Portland was a team that at one point they were the 4th seed. Now they're the 10th seed. Dallas at one point was the 10th seed. Now they're the 4th seed. You see, this is like this. The playoffs are almost an absolute joke. The Warriors at one point were the 11th seed. They've worked themselves all the way back to the 6th seed. So, and the Clippers were sitting here at 2 and 3 for the longest, in 4 and 5. Now they are the 7th seed, and Phoenix has dropped all the way off. At one point, Phoenix was the number 1 seed. Now they're the 8th seed. So it goes to show you that the Western Conference is not that far apart. Sacramento is 20 and 18. The Lakers are 19 and 21. So you see the difference I'm talking about. They're only two games apart from who actually is who actually can be in the playoffs. And as I said before, the Lakers are only a half game out from a play-in situation. So for everybody who's worried about the Lakers and what the Lakers are going to be doing, there it goes right there, that the Lakers are right there in the hunt of things, and them missing the playoffs is starting to become more and more not a thing. It's starting to look like that they are going to make the playoffs as long as they can get AD back and AD can stay healthy for the rest of the season. LeBron's playing out of his mind right now. Russ is playing great basketball off the bench as well too. Once Lonnie Walker returns to the lineup, that will be another great addition for the Lakers as well too. And they also have guys like Troy Brown Jr. who were playing great basketball at this point. Also have Tommy, everybody's favorite, you know what I mean, young Tommy. He's doing a great job as well too. And then you got Reeves doing a great job. See, they had a great group going on right now. All that stuff earlier on in the season when they had guys like Matt Ryan who had no business being on the roster, but they can shoot, so we'll put them on the roster. That's why the Lakers were 2-10 to start the season, because they had guys that had no business being on the roster. Now they've alleviated themselves from those players, and they have the right group. And I think that they stopped worrying so hard about, being the toughest guys on the court, and just now they just go out and win basketball games. That's what you're supposed to do. They're not overthinking this thing. They're not letting the media tell them not to like Russ anymore. You know what I mean? There was a lot of things that went into the Lakers being sorry at the beginning of the year, and now those elements aren't around anymore. So that's why the Lakers are playing much, much better basketball at this point. So I truly do like this game tonight for the Lakers, but I don't expect them to go in here and be, world beaters. If they win this game tonight, it will probably be a little bit of luck there as well, too. Let's keep it real. Because Denver at home, it's a different story. Now, Denver on the road, they're a 50-50 team. But at home, they are a very tough team to beat. But the Lakers have a great history in Denver of winning basketball games. So we shouldn't have to really worry about that part. But we'll see how it goes. We'll see how it shakes out. This is more of a scoreboard watch to me. But I think the Lakers, with the way that they're playing basketball right now, they can cover in this game as well, too. So we'll see how it goes. We'll see how it shakes out. And the Lakers are 11.5-point dog tonight as well, too. So I know why they're sitting like that, because LeBron's still a 50-50 on being in this game tonight. He might even sit it out. So we'll see how it goes. We'll see how it shakes out. But it didn't work. It worked out pretty well last time LeBron wasn't in the game. Lakers wound up winning that bad boy. So we'll see how it goes. And we move forward now to our NBA Monday night. And up first, we have ourselves the Pelicans and the Wizards, and this should be a really good game tonight between these two teams. You have a Pelicans team coming in here 24-16. You have the Wizards 17-23. Wizards are actually playing much better basketball over this time, because they had a really, really bad stretch in December at one point, and then they were able to win 5 out of 6 to end the month. But they haven't started off this year that great. They've lost their first 2 out of 3 games, but they did start off the year with a bang, with a good win over Milwaukee, and then came back around, been beat by double digits in their last 2. But that doesn't mean much to me. I think that this team still is a danger, because they are at home, and that's why they are a 1.5-point favorite tonight as well. But we do have to understand that New Orleans is without Zion probably for the next, 4 to 6 weeks or something like that. Zion, man, I know it's just, I didn't even want to dog them out like that, but it's just sad to see that, Zion gets hurt again. They were actually playing some of the best basketball in the NBA at this point. And, they just can't get their youth movement off the way that they want to. Now, you do see that the Pelicans have lost 3 out of 4 after finishing last month, winning 5 out of 6. So this team it's a weird situation. This team will win 5 in a row, then lose 3 in a row. It's been like their whole season this year. But their last few games, though, they came short against Brooklyn, got a good win over Houston, but in these 2 games against Dallas and Philadelphia, it just did not go well for them in either one of those spots on the road. They're back on the road for the next 4 games as well, too, on a 5-game road trip. So Washington is a 50-50 type game, but I would say scoreboard watch here. You shouldn't put any pressure on yourself to pick a winner here because both these teams are kind of fickle at the moment. So you'll see how it goes, see how it shakes out. We move forward from there. All right, so let's move on to the Bulls and the Celtics. It's crazy because the Bulls have been a thorn in the Celtics side all season long. Every time it seems like the Celtics have a streak going, something like that, they play the Bulls. The Bulls figure out a way to beat them. It's just been the way it is. You know what I mean? So they got a good win over Boston earlier in the year that a lot of us were very impressed with. They won their 3 out of 4 to start the year off as well, too. Got a good win against Utah on Saturday last time out. Also beat Philly, and they ended that 13-game winning streak for Brooklyn as well, too. So you have a Bulls team that's coming in here hot, and you have a Celtics team who has the best record in the league. They coming in here winning their last 2 in a row, and they were able to finish out their road trip 2-2 after 2 games where they gave up a lot of points. Like they literally gave 273 points in a 2-game stretch against Denver and against Oklahoma City. And I know they're still kind of seething over giving up that 150 points to Oklahoma City as well too. But this team is just they got to get a little bit tougher on defense here. I'm looking at these scores, and the scores are a little crazy right now. But all in all, this game really presents to me a game that has a lot of elements to it, but it's really easy to trust the Bulls here. As I said before, the Bulls just seem to give all the really good teams in the Eastern Conference and the Western Conference issues. And I think that's the DeMar DeRozan effect, if anything. You know what I mean? Levine, all those guys are great, but when are they ever healthy? DeMar DeRozan is literally like the thing that's pushing the Chicago Bulls at this moment. I know they love him in the Windy City. So we'll see how it goes. We'll see how it shakes out, but I do like the Bulls tonight with the points. All right, so we move forward. Let's jump into the game at the Garden tonight. We got the Bucks and the Knicks, and this one is another 1.5-point spread. You have the Knicks as the small dog here, and you can see that the Bucks are kind of struggling this month coming into January. They're 2-2, but they've had 2 really bad losses. They lost by almost 30 to Washington, and then they lost by almost 30 to they almost lost by 30 to Charlotte as well too. And Charlotte's one of the worst teams in the league. So they lost to 2 teams that are really bad. But that's okay because these things are kind of expected. But they did lose their last 4 out of 5 in the to end the year as well too. So they're not playing the type of basketball you would assume they should be playing, but it is what it is. This team will be much better as we move along. You have a Knicks team that did have a nice little run in December. They wound up winning 8 games in a row, and then they wound up losing 5 games in a row. But they ended the year with the win, and they've won their first 3 games of the season of the 2023 as well too. They got a good win over Phoenix. They also got a good win over San Antonio. Both were at home, and then were able to go to Toronto Friday and get a 4-point win. So they've been off all weekend. So now they get to lace them up against the Bucks tonight. And you know, the Bucks and Knicks is always a fun game because you do have Giannis coming in. Is Giannis in the house tonight? And they did already play this year with the Knicks getting beat by 11. So this should be a fun one. But I would say this is a spread game. In my opinion, I think that defense will be at an absolute premium, and you know the Knicks don't score a lot of points, so it is what it is at the end of the day. But it's a really it's a toss-up situation because we know that the Bucks are a little short-handed, and we know that the Knicks are on a streak right now, and we're at the Garden. So we'll see how it goes. We'll see how it shakes out. We move forward from there. All right, so we have the Spurs and the Grizzlies, and then we have the Spurs 13-27, and then we got the Grizzlies who are 26-13. Grizzlies coming here 11.5-point favor, over under 237.5. Also, the game is being played in Memphis, where Memphis is an absolute monster to stop. Let's just keep it real. It's really a tough out when you play Memphis at home. But this is a division rival as well too. So you can't just already give Memphis the win here, because really you throw out all the notes, you throw out all that stuff when it comes down to these games. You know what I mean? So it's always going to be a situation where you say to yourself, man, that 11.5 is really interesting, isn't it? So we'll see how it goes. These are their first meetings of the season as well too. There's going to be a back-to-back in Memphis for San Antonio. San Antonio has lost their first 3 out of 4 this month as well too. They haven't really. It's funny because this team did start the season off like 4, 5, 6-0, something like that. So literally, they've won like 7 games to like 27 since that point. So this is they finally had to get with the tanking situation, as everybody kept saying. Now Memphis comes in here 4-game winning streak to start the year off, and they had won 2 games to end the season. So they're on a 6-game winning streak coming into this game. So, Memphis is going to be one of those teams that are going to have a lot of money coming towards it. And there's good reasons why. They're at full strength tonight. They're at home. The Spurs are really struggling coming into this game. I know they're playing really hard basketball, and it is kind of pricey sometimes when you are looking at these type of games, because you want to take Memphis, but do you trust the 11.5? I would say this: you can trust it tonight. I think that the Grizzlies win this game by 15 or better, to be honest with you. So it is what it is, and we move forward from there. So let's go ahead and talk about the nightcap. The nightcap with Orlando and with the Kings. The Kings are actually struggling right now. The Lakers didn't get lucky Saturday. The Kings being in that game was the lucky part about it, because the Lakers were up most of the game. The Kings came into the new year losing 3 out of 4 after winning their final 2 games of the season. And in their only win, it was a 2-point win over Utah, which was a game where they had to pull tooth and nail. Now, they've played in 3 really close games here to start this year off as well too. Their last 3 games have been decided by 3 points or less. So that's something you look at and say, well, Sacramento should bounce back tonight. I'll be dead honest with you. Sacramento is the type of team right now that you can't really overbet them. When they are losing these games, there's a reason why they are losing these games, because they don't play great defense. And their defense is having a big adjustment phase right now because they're a better team. They're being taken more seriously. So everybody's kind of figured out that you just got to keep scoring on them. You can't sit there and respect them too much, because if you respect them too much, they're going to blow you out. But if you keep scoring on them and you keep making them play defense, then they're just the regular old Kings that we're used to. So with that type of analogy, it gives me a lot of confidence going into tonight's game. Yes, we know that the Magic are not the greatest team this season. They're 15-25. But people have to understand they are much better than they were to start the season. Okay? This team last month went on a 6-game winning streak. They wound up finishing the month 8-4. And since that point, they won 2 out of 3. So that means that they're literally 10-5 in their last 15. So that's a good record for a team that did not have these type of expectations. You know what I mean? So they're playing much better basketball than they did the first 6 weeks of the year. So this team is much different at this point. At one point in time, I think they were 6-20. Now they're 15-25. You see what I'm talking about? So you have to judge them on how they're playing now, not how they were playing before. Their record is a very funny one. And they're in an actual division that they're not too far out of the lead in. So I'm going to just keep it way too funky for y'all and way too real. I love Orlando tonight as my dog of the day with the plus 190. I think that they go into Sacramento tonight and they get themselves a very nice win over this Sacramento Kings team that still hasn't truly proven themselves. So we'll see how it goes. We'll see how it shakes out. But I like it. I like it a lot. And that's going to be my dog of the day with that. So let's go ahead and jump into talking tickets. We have ourselves up first. We have the CFP bets for today. I'm going to go with Georgia with the 13.5. I'm taking the under 32 first half as well, too. Also going to be taking the plus 3.5 TCU first quarter. I'm going off the fact that they're going to have the pride thing going, and it's going to be a crazy first quarter where we have a tie game, okay? Or we possibly have a TCU lead, all right? But other than that, TCU will probably have a great first quarter and then forget about it right after that. So that's what I'm seeing. And TCU goes under 24.5. I don't even see this team getting to 21, to be honest with you. So let's see how it goes. Let's see how it shakes out. Those are the CFP title bets for today. All right. And then we have the PrimeTime PK6, 55-1. Army is the choice today in the Patriot League Monday spot. We got them with the plus 7.5. I got IUPUI with the plus 16. And you guys have to understand they are the Indiana University at Purdue University. That's what the name of the school is. It's Iowa and Purdue, Indiana and Purdue put together. All right. So we have Howard Moneyline plus 100. And then we also have Coppin State Moneyline plus 110. And then we have Southern with the 9.5. And then we also finish up with New Mexico, who's playing Oral Roberts tonight at the Den in at the Den in New Mexico. So there it is, 55-1 on the PrimeTime PK6. And then we end up with the 38-1 ticket on the NBA Super High Five, the over 228.5 with the Pelicans and the Wizards. And then we also have the Bulls plus 8.5. And then we have the under 221.5 Bucks Knicks. And then we also have the Grizzlies with the minus 11 tonight. And we also have the Magic with the money line with the plus 190. So there it is. There it is. And thank you for that note as well, too. The Magic did have a pretty close game with the Kings last time out. They only lost by 3. So here goes the revenge spot for him in this spot. So Magic money line plus 190, 38-1. Let's see how it goes. Let's see how it shakes out. And that's what we have here for our finale on Talking Tickets. So I want to thank you guys very much for tuning in today. The game starts at 4:30 this afternoon Pacific time, 7:30 Eastern time. Should be a lot of fun with the CFP, but I look forward to the NBA tonight, and I look forward to watching some of these HBCUs play as well too, because they play some pretty good college basketball in the SWAC and the MEAC. So that should be some fun games to watch, and I look forward to the Patriot League Monday game as well too. So there it is. There it is. I'll be back tomorrow, and we'll be talking more sports. We'll be jumping into a lot of college basketball for tomorrow. We'll also be talking some NBA as well, and then we'll start previewing these NFL games as well too. So you guys make sure to tune in to the premier sports betting show, the PrimeTime Angles Live, hosted by the one and only Pop DiBiase, the Primetime Capper. And as I always like to say, bet with your head, not with your heart. The movement is moving, and I am gone.
From the East and the West, you've heard others, but now you've tuned into the best. This is a Prime Wave Media production.